Wow, I just realized I had the microphone off. I am very sorry, everyone. Welcome to Let's Program with Scientier. I'm human, and today I forgot to turn my microphone on. Welcome to some Task Tracker. Thankfully, I recognized that just under 6 minutes into the video. I'm not going to start over because that would require me to undo all of the coding that I did, and there's no reason for me to do that. Hopefully, you can follow along with the comments. I will make right here a special note. I forgot to turn on my microphone for the first 6 minutes. Oops. Okay, so I made a special note in the thing where I keep track of the notes of what I did in each episode so that way I can write accurate summaries. And again, I'm very sorry about that. There's not a whole lot I can do to change it now, unfortunately. But I'm going to go ahead and do the same sort of thing over here. So again, the logic of what's going on here is the adjusted thing is to basically make sure we don't do the value changed, because that's going to be done as it passes through. So we only want to call that once. So what's going to happen, for example, if you set the minutes to be some high value, it will pass through to the hours. If that rolls over into days, then the days one will be called with everything else having been updated already, because we're doing the value change call last. This is important to change the values first. Then it will everything else will have been updated, but we'll only call it once. Otherwise, we'd call it like each time. So we don't want to do that. So what we want to do right now is minutes equaling. Well, I need to cast this to an int because, as I said, well, you couldn't hear me. These are decimals because it makes sense for them to be. Decimals are very flexible. They take up a lot of space, relatively speaking, to other small quote-unquote data types, but they make a lot of sense to use. So I'm just going to put same logic as with the hours above, except with minutes and hours instead of hours and days. Okay, so we're going to take our hours plus and our minutes minus equals 60. And then, oh yeah, there's something real important that I need to do here. So this doesn't actually update anything, right? This actually needs to go hours.value equals hours. This right here, need to add a check for. So I'm going to actually add a bool, call it hours lock equals false. If hours lock, simply return. And right here, we're just going to go hours lock equals true. I don't know if there's a better way of doing this, but this is how I'm going to do it. Boolean lock stops us from recursing, because we don't want to recurse. That would be bad. Okay, so then I want to go if hours is greater than 0. I need to add a minutes lock. If minutes lock turn, same issue. Hours dot. So actually, this is actually really important as well. I want to actually move this in front of this. Make sure we update hours before days, which will call the value changed event. So it's actually important that, like right here, I go minutes lock equals true, minutes.value equal minutes, minutes lock equal false, hours.value equal plus equals hours. We don't want to set it, we want to increment it by. And then adjusted is true. Okay, so hopefully nothing got lost. If there are any questions that comments and other things in the code did not explain while I was going through things, please let me know if stuff hasn't made clear by the end of the episode or whatever. Just because I know that first six or so minutes I had accidentally muted my microphone. I recorded this shortly after the previous one, but not immediately, because of just life stuff happened, and I turned off my microphone. Then I forgot to turn it back on when I sat down. So my apologies. Okay, so I have this fellow partially set up. There's one more thing that I need to add though, which is value, what we should call it. Get turn new time span. This is going to be in this shape. So int days.value, int hours.value, int minutes.value 0. Set, we can just call set time value. It'll be easier to work with that, but making stuff as I go along. Time span value represented by this control doesn't support seconds, which is important because it doesn't. Okay, so last time, okay, so that's setting that stuff up. I need to build this. I needed to build it because I haven't built it, and I need stuff to show up. So last time, one of the things I discovered was docking. So I didn't know about docking because self-taught on this, and I had no cause to learn it. So I can make that a giant button at the bottom. Okay, so I don't like that. Do I want this giant button at the bottom and this to dock fill? How does that work? Is that... Okay, so that's not working the way I'd want it to, so... It's interesting, though, to kind of think about that and okay, where could I apply this, where can't I? Here I can't apply it because it screws up. It doesn't interact nicely with this, and so, with a fill, so I would have to do chicanery to get it to kind of be any sort of cooperative or whatever. Basically, resizing is very dependent upon how it's docking, it would appear. But what I've decided I wanted to do is rip most of this out. Actually, just because I'm making this dang thing and it would be very helpful, I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to go public int index equals, I don't know, -1 or something. The index used for other stuff. Because I would rather work with this than with tag. Because tag I have to cast and all sorts of things. So I'm going to take this right here. I don't need this. I don't need this. And I don't need this. What I need is I'm going to make a time span setter. TSS equals new time span setter. TSS.value equals owner.alerts I. TSS.doc equals doc top. TSS dot do I need to do anything else? Yes, index equals I, and then just add TSS. Then come down here and take this I changes. So this is going to be a new time span. So just blank. And then index I is going to be owner.alerts.count. Because again, that's going to be the last index, and then we add something, so it's going to enlarge the index. And then we can just add that to the thing as well. And then both of these are going to need value changed. And just take this, good old-fashioned copy pasta. And then on the value change, I go time span setter success equals time span setter sender, because we know it should be sender. Alerts dot no owner dot alerts TSS dot index equals TSS dot value. There, and that should be able to update things. Okay, let's check out this functionality. Hopefully it is a little bit more functional than the last mess that I tried poorly to do. Drink some water time. Okay, need a new task. Need a category for the task. Let's edit our task. Add a due date. You can see our date of creation. Today. That's right, I need to remember to add our date of creation. It does have that. I need to add that. So add alert. Okay. So one of the things that you'll notice right away is that this is not wide enough. But you know, I can put in something like 700 minutes, and it becomes 11 hours and 40 minutes, apparently. That makes sense. 660 minus, yeah. If I put in like 800, it would become 33 days and 8 hours. Because, sure. Also, the task is due. So, there's that. Thanks. So now this has a due date on it. Again, that needs to have the time of day, but this alert is obviously very aggressive, but that should theoretically work. So I'm going to want to test that in just one moment, but I want to improve the spacing so it fits better. So we noted that this needed to be noticeably wider, so I'm going to noticeably widen it. Actually, let's put the add alert button over here, because I kind of like it more that size, I think. And I also was noticing that this needs to have TT, I think it was, if I'm remembering correctly, appended to it. Okay, so now I might want to like change the wording for if it's task due versus task alert. I'm going to go ahead and add a bool task due equals notification, and then task due equals false. If the task is due, then this will be true. The task wasn't due, but we have a notification now. This is actually redundant. I don't need this. But I'm going to keep it there for an alert. So I'm going to just take this first part right here and go string initial info equals task alert. Actually, just initial info. If task due, initial info equals task due, else initial info equals task alert, like so. And then just change this from string little to initial info, like so. And what that'll do for us is when that notification pops up, if it's an alert, it will tell us that's a task alert. If it's the task being due, then it'll tell us it's due. Either way, it will tell us what time. I'm just going to call this due date instead. It'll tell us when it's due. Okay, new task. Yes, please. That's all fine. Now this I want to change up a little bit in terms of the due date. Oh, thanks. That's nice. I want to actually set this to be like 02, for example, and I want to add an alert for 23 hours and 58 minutes. I don't know, is that should give me an alert in a moment, I think. If I did this right. I don't know if I did this right. I'll find out. Waiting for the minute. Yep, just me waiting for that minute to change. Okay, I did not get an alert. Question is that set up properly? They've given me an alert then. So actually, here's what I should do. I should go in. Nope, that's the wrong exact thing. I need this bit right here. And now I have to wait for 23, but you know, that's how it works. It's once I'm done testing all of the due date module stuff, there'll be a lot less sitting around waiting for time to move so I can test things. But I'm going to drink some water while I'm waiting. But I think it would actually be a good idea to replace the word task with like owner.name as well. But, so it's not due. We have a thing. So we come in here, due date minus alerts I. Okay, so that's 223. So that isn't qualified. Cool. I just got my math slightly off. So task alert, unnamed task. Oh, okay, it does give the name. Right there. Boom. Task alert, unnamed task. Due date. Then. Okay, cool. So what that means is that this little piece of functionality functions the way that I want it to. That is absolutely fantastic. Now when we go into this, we will also see that the alert has been cleared out because it has been passed. So that's, a thing. Something that's probably important So if I were making this as like what's the word, like a for sale piece of software, I would want to add functionality that said, "Oh, an alert just happened. I need to remove I need to update the controls that are associated with it if this is open while an alert occurs," because otherwise you kind of run into potential issues um, of things going explodey. Now, technically, it would also be a good idea to sort the alerts. Like when I go off of this due date control, for example, is there like a disposed? Yeah, so like right here, occurs when the component is disposed. I called the component as disposed method. So it might not be a bad idea to like add when thing is disposed, sort the alerts in kind of ascending order. I don't know, the order in which they're going to occur. Just it will make certain stuff more efficient, but it'll also mean that, for example, if you decide to add, I don't know, I don't think you can kind of make less sense out of stuff. I'm not going to deal with it, but it's not like a bad idea to do. I just don't think it's strictly speaking necessary. Now, there's a couple more things I do need to do with due date here, or with the task module on the due date. So one is to be able to mark it recurring and set the recurrence rate. The other is it's possible to set like multiple due dates. I don't know why you would, but you can add multiple due dates. So I might want to add just a like completed as well. So I'm just gonna throw in a couple of checkboxes, like so. So this first one is just going to be completed. Again, like I don't know how much you're going to necessarily do this, but you can. Completed. This one is going to be recurring toggle. Recurring. And then what I need is a conveniently a time span setter. For actually, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw completed on the end over here. Yeah, sure, like that, whatever. Actually, do I like it? Yeah, sure. Then I'm going to put this right here. I'm going to throw recurring kind of here-ish. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and move that there. I'm going to take this and move it over here. And then this can come up. I'm going to just stretch that to kind of fit over to there. And this is going to be like what this looks like. So that's all good and dandy. Okay, so now I just need to recurrence rate and fill in this information. So let's go ahead and do that. Complete dot checked equals owner dot completed recurrence rate recurrence toggle dot checked equals owner dot recurring. I apparently screwed up that name. Recurring toggle recurrence rate dot value equals owner dot recurrence rate. Okay, now that I've assigned some values, assign some events. Okay, so there's a couple of things that I want to do. The first, actually, before I do that, is I want to go if owner dot. No, this is better done this way. Recurrence rate dot enabled equals owner dot recurring. So if it's not recurring, then what should happen is the ability to set the recurrence rate should turn off. And when you tell it to be recurring, then that should clear out. Turn recurrence rate setting on or off depending upon whether or not this is a recurring due date. Okay, so completed dot checked changed. Recurring toggle dot checked changed. And recurrence rate dot value changed. Okay, so this right here just needs to go owner dot completed equals completed dot checked. So there's two things actually that need to occur right here. So the first one is, as you'd expect, setting recurring dot checked. The other is to actually set the recurrence rate dot enabled to recurring toggle dot checked as well, because we need to turn this control on or off as appropriate, which I may have misspelled. I don't think I did, but then owner dot recurrence rate equals recurrence rate dot value. Okay, so now I should be able to set those things. So for example, this thing can be set up to be properly recurring. Okay, so let's go ahead and add a new task. Yes, unknown task, that's all fine. Let's give this thing a due date. Let's go ahead and set recurring on off. Then let's just set this to recur every 2 minutes. Close it. Now, I might want to add that information onto sort of the due date. Now, theoretically, this should pop up in another minute, and then after a couple minutes, it should pop up again. So you'll see it has a due date of that. And now, if we add a category, I'm going to just name this one so it's not too confusing. I come back, you'll notice that this thing's due date has been updated to be in a couple of minutes. Now, this display, unfortunately, doesn't really have a great way of getting refreshed right now. It might, like, this is literally the only thing that I could think of that would legitimately need to make this do that. But just want you to see that, yep, that's working. It does properly update. And, you know, I can come in here, I can mark it as completed. And now that says completed. So, there's that. Turn those things off. Or turn that on, that off. And add alerts, already tested that, so I can set the due date. General tasks, close that, come back in. Still being marked completed because I still marked it as completed. Yeah, so that all seems pretty fine and dandy to me. I think that this has been set up for due dates. So what that means is I get to close these two things. There's definitely a bunch of stuff that I'll want to be adding, but I've gotten what I want set up for due dates, at least for the time being. And I should be able to set stuff up. I obviously trying to test things like, does it properly take into account hours, days? That's a little time consuming. Not very active either. But that's stuff that I will test in the process of using this. So for now, that's going to go ahead and call this episode to a close. And I'm going to need to figure out what I'm going to do next in this little handy dandy tool. Until then, everyone, take care. Bye-bye.